Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening. Hello, I'm Vincent Adams, and I'm co-founder of the Shreveport Bossier City Law of Attraction, Emotion Code, Body Code, Psyche meetup group.
You and your who?
Me and my lovely wife, Leslie.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Say hi. Okay. Well, it's another Thursday night. Another week has gone by, and here's some interesting things occurred since last week. You remember we've been talking about one of the handouts that I have available on the Law of Attraction meetup site for Shreveport and Bossier, and I called it the Four Gates to Paradise. A lot of times when people study the Law of Attraction, they come across a thing called the universal laws. And when I looked at them a couple of years ago, they're all right, but there were a few on there that I just didn't think had any real purpose or meaning, at least in my opinion. I wanted something that was more direct and more readily meaningful, in my opinion. So I came up with the Four Gates to Paradise based on Revelation chapter 21, verses 12 to 21. And the first law is the law of attraction, of course. And then the second law is the law of deliberate creation. These laws are just like the physical laws of the universe, the law of gravity. You know, it's always at work. It doesn't matter if you're a Christian, a Muslim, a Buddhist, or a Hindu. It works for everyone just the same. And these four laws are the same way: the law of attraction, the law of deliberate creation, the law of abundance, and the law of allowing. These are the four main laws that will help you accomplish your goals, dreams, and desires, or manifest them in this reality. You know, a lot of people have dreams, desires, goals, aspirations, but they very rarely manifest them.
Right.
So these laws will help you manifest them. We talked about the law of attraction last week and the law of deliberate creation. You know, every one of us is a creator. We were made in God's image as a creator. And so all of us are creators. The problem is, what are we creating? You want to learn how to be a deliberate creator. You want to create your destiny and your future today by what you say, do, think, and most importantly, feel in your emotions. Tonight, we're going to talk about the last two laws, the law of abundance and the law of allowing. On the handout, the Four Gates to Paradise, it says under number 3, the law of abundance. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, for the world is mine and the fullness thereof. Psalms 50, verse 12. The person talking there is God himself, the universe, source, light, whatever you prefer to call it. Everything in the universe belongs to the Creator. To the person, not to the person, I should say, to the force that created it, that we call, some of us call it the Creator, some of us call it the universe, some of us call it the light, some call it source. It doesn't matter. The cattle that grazes upon 1,000 hills belongs to. I got that? Okay. Okay. Well, you put too much of a close-up, so I was blocking myself. You shouldn't have such
I'm letting you know.
a close-up on it. You tell me don't look at that, and then you. Okay.
Sorry.
The cattle that grazes upon 1,000 hills belongs to Source, as well as all the gold and silver. Psalms 50, verses 10 and 11. You know, the Creator has said, everything is mine. The earth is mine and the fullness thereof. You know, the gold and silver are mine. And it's in abundance. There is no shortage of supply. There just isn't. So when we look at that, and we're talking about the law of attraction, we're talking about we're using vision boards, we're using positive statements, all of these various methods to manifest our dreams and desires and reach our goals. You don't have to, you're not in competition with anyone. You are only in competition with yourself. How can you stop thinking negatively? How can you stop self-sabotaging the prosperity that you were given at birth? The prosperity which is yours as a birthright. How can you stop? That's the only competition there is. There's no shortage. I mean, any one of us can go into business and have a successful business, or we can choose any career that we feel gifted in and have all the success that we want. There's no shortage. That just reminds me, let me go ahead and turn off my phone here. Okay.
Okay.
There's no shortage. You don't have to be envious of someone. You don't have to be jealous of someone. If you carry that emotion in you, jealousy, envy, those are negative emotions. They're emotions of chaos. And that's what you're going to attract into your life. You don't want the emotion of envy. I mean, we can go into a lot of deep analysis about envy, about what it makes you feel. Envy and jealousy actually puts you in a fight or flight state of mind. You know, we're only supposed to be in fight or flight when a lion is chasing us that wants to eat us. Okay? It's not supposed to be a lifelong or a full-time 24/7 state of emotional consciousness or awareness. Most of us are always in fight or flight, whether we realize it or not. And then after a number of years, you wind up with a heart attack, cancer, whatever.
I think chronic fatigue is probably your early symptom.
Chronic fatigue,
Yeah.
okay. That's really good. Fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome. And it's no wonder. It's no wonder. If you had, most of us have a car. If we put the car in park and just let it idle, but put our foot on the gas and just race it just a little bit, not gunning, you'll burn out the engine if you do that. But if you just give it a little bit of gas, just a little bit, eventually you're going to burn that motor up doing that. You're going to wear that motor out. And that's what most of us are doing. We've got our motors are idling, and we've got our foot, in park or neutral, and we have our foot on the gas ever so lightly, just a little bit, instead of letting the car, we got the car. Our internal engine under that type of stress is going to burn itself out. And that's what you're doing if you're envious of someone, if you're jealous, You know, the Bible says where there is envy and jealousy, there's every evil work. So what does that mean? You know, as I tell my, congregants, that means that every demon in hell is now
Somebody.
sitting at your door.
Yeah, being summoned.
Every demon in hell is now summoned unto you, looking for a way to get in. And whatever open doors, we call it open doors, whatever entryways. You know, the New Age people like to say you're being attacked on the astral plane.
Mm-hmm.
And indeed, that's true. You know, demons really don't attack you on the physical plane. Well, I'm getting into some theology.
Yeah.
Let me stop there. Okay. But on a secular note, you're releasing discrete amount of cortisone, adrenaline, and other hormones that are stress hormones. And it's going to kill you. You know, this is a known fact. You know, it'll happen to you if you're a Christian. It'll happen to you if you're New Age. It'll happen to you if you're a Muslim, Hindu, or Buddhist.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is.
Okay? That's, you know, in most of our descriptions of a person, of an enlightened being, you know, we see, you know, Gandhi, Sister, Mother Teresa, you know,
Martin Luther King. Obama.
you know, Jesus or Yeshua.
Yeah.
We see a calm individual. We don't see an irate individual. Because you won't be here long if you're irate. If you are working yourself up. Maybe it might be okay to give a few speeches with a lot of passion, but in your everyday life and existence, you should just have a passion for living. But be very, very calm. You know, in Kabbalah, a Kabbalist never gets angry. They do everything they can to transform their personality and that inner being to someone who is calm, to someone who doesn't, as they say, react. Someone who is always proactive. Most of us kill ourselves just driving our cars. Kabbalah says, you know, don't give people the evil eye. You have to protect yourself against the evil eye. And that's where we get into quantum physics. We affect each other's energy field.
Yeah.
Through quantum mechanics. The Bible says, don't let any roots of bitterness spring up in you, defiling other people as well as yourself. That's quantum mechanics. Don't put negative emotions into your energy field, into the field, into the universal field, and have that go out into the world, defiling other people. Those that are closest to you will feel it first sometimes. You know, I like to explain it this way. Those people who are in my inner circle, if I have thoughts of anger and violence, for whatever reason, it may affect those people in my inner circle. It may not, because most of the people in my inner circle are very enlightened individuals. And if they notice that in me, they're going to check me. They're going to be my accountability partner. They'll check me. Hey, don't say it that way. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do it that way. You know, think of it in a different way. But there could be someone in the Middle East or someone in Africa who is not so enlightened. And I've just put out negative energy that they can pick up on and maybe go commit murder. Remember, I'm not the only person in the world thinking negatively. As the Bible says, we are our brother's keeper. You're responsible for what goes on. So we don't want to get into any type of negativity because we feel that we're in competition with someone, or get into jealousy, anger, hatred, and all the accompanying emotions. We don't want to do that. It's just not necessary. It's not necessary. Those of you who go to church may have heard this story told in a few sermons. There was a picture of hell, so to speak. And in hell, there was this fantastic and elaborate banquet table filled with all kinds of delicacies, all of your favorite foods, everything that you might think of that you would want to eat. And in hell, the people in hell were sitting at the table and they were starving to death. They looked like walking skeletons, bones with just a little bit of skin wrapped around it very tightly. And the reason why was because they couldn't eat the food that was before them. And the reason why they couldn't eat the food was because they had these long forks and spoons tied to their hands. And they couldn't use their hands. They had to use these extra long forks and spoons in order to put the food in their mouth. But they were so long that they couldn't, if they put their hand here, the edge of the fork would be out here. And so they couldn't pull it back so that they can get the food in their mouth. So they were starving to death. And then there was a picture of heaven. And in heaven, they had the same abundant table. The same abundant table. But yet everybody was fat and happy in heaven. And you may ask why.
Yeah.
In heaven, they fed each other. Same abundance. Same restrictions. But everybody in heaven was fat and happy. Because they realized that it was abundant. All they had to do was cooperate with one another. All they had to do was coexist. And everybody can be happy. But when you're in jealousy and envy, and you think you're in competition with someone, that you have to get yours and do unto others before they do unto you. When you have that type of attitude, because the law of attraction is at work, what do you attract? You attract people that's going to do unto you. If you think so, it is.
Yeah.
If you believe that the world is abundant and that the universe, as they say in Kabbalah, the universe is conspiring in your favor.
Amen.
And that's particularly hard to do sometimes, depending on where you come from. Because there are places, not naive, there are places where, it's a little rough. But it's only rough because the people are behaving more like that picture of hell than the picture in heaven. That's the only difference. That's the only reason you come from a tough place.
Yeah.
Because of the way the people think there. The way that the people think. That's the only thing that separates abundance and wealth. Your consciousness, your state of mind. I don't care how big or small your house is. I don't care how many people have to sleep to a room. The only difference between abundance and wealth is your state of mind and your consciousness. The only difference. How else do you explain someone coming from the projects or someone coming from the poverty of Appalachia, and someone makes it out to become out of both places? A few make it out to become doctors, lawyers, engineers, champions of industry or whatever. It is only, and I'm not talking about, someone who can play football or basketball and, got a, football scholarship and made it to the NFL. I'm talking about the average, non-athlete. How do you explain people making it out of those areas into areas of abundance other than how they perceived life to be?
Yeah.
And what they decided, being African American, a lot of times we complain that we're operating, it's not a level playing field. And I think that is true to a large degree. I think it is an unlevel playing field, but no matter.
People want to say hi. Say they're paying attention.
Say hi. Who says?
Everybody. They're like, hey.
Who says hi?
Everybody.
Everybody, okay. Whoever everybody is, hello back.
Thanks for
Well,
joining.
Thank you for joining, as Leslie said. It's a matter of how they perceive it. And as I was saying, as an African American, we may complain that we don't have the latest books, we don't have the best facilities, and so forth. But I don't care if the book of mathematics that you're using is from 1925. 2 plus 2 equals 4 in 2016 as it did in 1925. It doesn't matter how old the textbooks are. You can still make it out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're reading books, say, See Jane Run, See Spot Run. Now I'm giving away my age when I say that, because those are the reading books that I grew up with. What were your first reading books? What did it say in the first reader that you had in school?
It was Jackrabbit. What was that?
The Jackrabbit? See, when I was in school, everybody knows this because everybody had this book. My goodness. See Jack Run.
Yeah.
See Jane Run. See David Run. Or See Spot Run.
Peter Rabbit, that's what I read. Yeah.
Everyone had those readers. What if those, now of course they're not using those readers today, they have a lot of different methods. But what if you learned to read, what if you were using the book that I learned to read with today? So what? Everybody would be storming the school board if that was indeed the case and complaining the ire that would be raised. But at the same time, so what? Kids today don't read any better than I read.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, it seems like they don't read at all anymore, Most, everything is talking to them. They certainly don't write better because they're used to texting.
Yeah.
So what? It's all a matter of your perception. If you believe that the law of abundance is in effect and that the universe has more than enough to supply your needs, wants, and desires, it doesn't matter.
Right. Go for it. So
You do need a computer, though. You do need some computer science. So let's not be too absurd in our examples and analogies, but I think you get my point. let's go on now to the law of allowing. Now, this is a difficult one to grasp, and it's almost esoteric, but it's very important. Let's see what we can do with this. We'll see if I can convey this, because it's a hard concept and you must do it, but it's a difficult concept to place into action. You know, we had the law of attraction being number one.
Mhm.
The law of attraction allows us to be, it facilitates the law of deliberate creation, allows us to deliberately create. The law of abundance tells us to relax. That's what the law of abundance is about. Relax. The universe has this. You know, as they say in church, let go and let God. And people go, now what the heck did that fool just say? Let go. How do you, and I've heard this, how do you let go and let God? You know, when are we supposed to be in there swinging, and when are we supposed to relax? Difficult to know when to do one or the other. But somehow you have to master it or become proficient in it well enough to manifest your dreams. Another story, I'm sure those of you who mothers made you go to church on Sunday and Sunday school, no doubt you heard this story told by the preacher of a little boy who wanted cookies. And so he reached into the cookie jar, and he was so greedy because he wanted all the cookies in the cookie jar that he grabbed it, a handful of cookies, and he couldn't get his hand out of the cookie jar. And he became irate and frustrated because he couldn't get his hand out. And so he, got overheated and excited and started screaming and crying. As Mama said, let go of the cookies. Grab one or two. Now take your hand out. Okay, you through with those two? Reach in and take one or two more. Relax. Okay, get out of your own way. The law of allowing, I put it this way. Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of the light, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. Hebrews 12:15. I've already stated that. In order to allow the abundance of the universe to flow into your life unconstricted, you must rid yourself of all negative thoughts, inhibiting and limiting belief systems, blocks to your success, and negative energy patterns. All of these are roots of bitterness and must be purged from both the conscious and subconscious mind. Now,
Yeah.
I just, that's a dissertation right there. Let me see if I can do it justice. Getting out of your own way, letting the universe, work for you, as opposed to you trying, letting go and relaxing, taking one cookie out of the cookie jar at a time, perhaps. I like to say, call it getting out of your own way.
Mhm.
A lot of times when people are practicing law of attraction, they're so intent and so focused on being successful that they block their success. By that, I mean their focus, laser beam focus, very, very intense. What they're really focused on in many instances is the hole in the donut. They're focused on what they don't have as opposed to what they do have. I need $5,000. I need $10,000 to make, to get the seed money to start up my new business. When you say I need, when you say I want, you're sending the wrong message to your subconscious mind. Remember some of the earlier sessions, we talked about the subconscious. The subconscious is the elephant, and your conscious mind is the ant. It's the job of the ant to get the subconscious to do what it wants. But the ant has to learn how to speak elephant. It has to learn the language of the subconscious. When you say I want, you're focused on want. And what are you going to get? You're going to get more want.
Yeah.
You don't get the desire, you get the want. You get the lack. You get the hole in the donut instead of the donut. So you have to learn the language of the subconscious. The language of the subconscious is pictures, allegory, emotions. Not so much words. Words take a long time to be translated into the subconscious. Words with a lot of emotion attached to it gets there a lot quicker, because when you have emotions attached to words, what do you automatically get? You get pictures to go along with it. You get imagery. The Bible says, without a vision, the people perish. You have to have a vision. Okay? You need emotion. You need fear. That's the language of the subconscious. Emotions, feelings. You feel your way to the top. You don't talk it as much. The Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh.
Emotion, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
The power of life and death is in the tongue, but it still starts with a thought.
Yeah.
Still starts with emotions. So we have to get out of our own way. The subconscious is also knows no time or space. It's a right now conscious. Whatever you want, feel like the Bible says faith calls things that be not as though they were.
This guy said every thought in a dream.
Mm-hmm.
One person, that's a good comment. Dreams are full of allegories.
I need to take a little break. You want to take over for a while?
Oh,
Okay. I'm gonna let Leslie talk before I'm gonna take a quick break.
what are you gonna do? This is not fun. You put me on the spot. I'm okay. You better hurry up and come back. Well, thanks all. I hope this stayed on here. What you're looking at him, or listening to him doing, is talking about the four gates of paradise. That can be found on our website. That is on our website at etzhaim.weebly.com. That's etzhaym.weebly.com. The Four Gates of Paradise is a handout that we have on our one of our pages. I'm going to show it to you real quick. I don't think you can see it very well. I don't know if you can. Let me know if you can. But there you go. You'll look for that. We have a lot of free ebooks on our website also that you might want to check out. Very good for the mind. Very good for changing and transforming your thoughts. Because when you change your mind, you change your world. That's what we're all about here, is helping you change your world, believing in the best. I believe in the best for you. He believes in the best for you. And we just want you to reach for higher heights. Our God is a big God. So we want to expand your thinking. And we have tools and all kinds of exercises and information to help you do that, to believe in that. Our whole story, your whole life is our testimony. We have so much to tell you, to share in the future about. I can tell you everything about our life. First, how we got married was supernatural. We have 9 wonderful kids. And even being here in Shreveport was pretty much like a miracle, being here. How we got this building, all because it was just walking in the promises of God, which are huge. They're huge. We don't live like normal people. We don't have regular standards. We reach for standards that are just unlike our community or unlike our social, background. So we want to inspire you all to think higher, think better for yourself, and always just know we're here for you, knowing that we believe in you. We believe in everyone to aspire to do their best, knowing who you are, number one. There's one thing that we learned from one of our mentors. He said to really develop yourself fully, to have a fulfilled life, you have to know yourself first, accept yourself second. Then I think it was third, develop yourself. And then the fourth, you give of yourself. You learn those four things, you're going to be doing great. First, know self, accept self, develop self, and give self. And that is what we really want to see you do. We want to have everyone here do that. And just let us know what more we can do for you. Check out our website. So far, events are talking about the law of attraction. Let's go through these 4 gates of paradise real quick. And I hope he hurries up and comes back here. The law of attraction he went through first. And he was talking about the law of abundance, the law of allowing. He also has the law of deliberate creation. We're all deliberate creators. He covered that in the last week's session. So you might want to look back on our videos on our website here and just check out all that we have about God and the law of attraction. Thanks for following us, Chad. And it's really good stuff. My husband is really interesting. Very fun in an intellectual way. He has so much information and knowledge that he puts together. Just you can look forward to our next time we come online. After the 4 gates of paradise that he has here, he's going to cover the 12 foundations to paradise. And that's also on our website. You can find the 12 foundations to paradise to meditate on, so you get that in your spirit, so you understand these laws and how it works for you, how it helps you in your everyday process of your goal, attaining your goals. You have to have these foundations going on for you. So you want to know what they are? Check out our website, etzhaym.weebly.com. Yes, we use Weebly. We do not pay for something we don't need to. If you really want us, you're going to find us. So that's good. I'm going to type it in here, etzhaym.weebly.com. Is that there? Okay. And you can also give us a call. Our number is 318-222-2758. My little specialty that I do is to help people discover what their purpose is or have a clue what their purpose is using biblical astronomy and astrology. And if you gave me your information on one of our forums on our website, you have to tell me your name. You don't have to give me your last name, just your first name. You can tell me your birth date, the place you were born, and time you were born, and I will be able to give you a pretty good insight as to why you were born, when you were born, to who you were born, where you were born, why you are here, for instance. Also, I do dream interpretation. So if you have a dream, you want to know what God is saying to you in your dreams, I can do that. I can help you with that too. I look forward to hearing anyone's dreams, because the more dreams that I get submitted to me, the better I get. And I know that there's so much information that you're getting in your dreams that God wants you to know, whether it's information about yourself, your family, curses, blessings, insight, direction, instruction, and warning. You get all that in your dreams. So again, on our website, go to our website, check it out, find the form on the contact us page, type out your dream, or give me a call. If you have a really good dream you want to have an interpretation of, You can call me up. I'll be happy to write it down and give you some insight about what God is saying. Okay. This is taking a long time. My name is Leslie, by the way. My husband's name is Vince. Our kids' names, let's see a picture of them. We have my stepdaughter, Caroline, and my oldest, Lemuel, Meshach, Melchizedek, Enoch, Candace, Boaz, and Nehemiah. And we have one son in heaven. He would be 18 years old about now. And it's just been a heck of a journey with all of our kids. We used to live in Tulsa. Now we live here in Shreveport. And we're just growing and developing, doing what the Lord has set us here to do. This place and area that we live in right now in Shreveport needs some people like us in their block. So we're happy to be here to be assistants and to help anyone in our community. And we've had some really good meetings with several people here and just helping building up the community, doing our part. And we encourage you all to do your part. We're all here for a reason. Okay. I guess I can show you what another thing that Vince has been doing while he's taking his break. He has this thing called a diary. I'm going to tell you a little about a diary, but you know a little bit of his secrets. They're not really secrets. I wouldn't betray his trust like that. But he has some wonderful things he loves to share about his diary that he writes in here. He does this thing called the prosperity game, which really expands your thinking and your mind. People with the law of attraction, if you do a vision board, that helps you envision your desires, and it actually helps you manifest those desires because you're putting those pictures out there. And the universe reacts and responds to that. And your subconscious is always at work with that. And so do a vision board. But in his diary, we play this prosperity game. And to play this prosperity game, what you do is you have to pretend or you believe that you would have from the universe $1,000 given to you a day. And you have to spend it all. So today, say you started your prosperity game, you would write down $1,000 you were deposited into your account. What would you do with it? Do you know what you would do with that $1,000? Well, write it down, what you would do exactly. And the next day, you do the same thing, but this time it's $2,000. And the next day, the third day, it's $3,000, and so on. Well, Vince is up to, what did he say he's up to? I think he's like he's at $242,000, okay, or more. I think he's done more than that. He skipped a day here and there, but he's up to over $240,000 doing this thing. He's been doing it all throughout last year. What it has done is expanded his space, expanded his thinking. It makes you think of ways you never thought you would think. Because if you're used to having a poverty mentality, or you just don't know how to think big, this prosperity game, it just helps you think big. So try it. Start writing down in a little journal about $1,000 a day adding onto your account. What would you do? How would you spend it? Would you help your family get out of debt? Would you buy your mom and dad a house? Would you build it up for your personal business? Would you start a ministry? Would you start a community service, an organization? What would you need for that organization? Do you have kids paying off all of their education for college? What would you do? When you start writing down that you would do this and this and that, you have to learn how to feel that through, the good and the bad that goes along with it, because it's going to be a lot of responsibility that grows with your prosperity game. So you want to make it and feel, because remember, the emotion is what brings about such a manifestation. It happens in the spirit realm first, and you'll see it manifest into the physical eventually. So that's actually how we got this place. Vince was doing the prosperity game before we even got this place, and what kind of building he wanted to have, and how much he thought he'd have to pay for it. Well, this building just happened to fall almost into his lap by just reaching out to one of our friends in the realtor business and made a deal with him. And the gentleman was very, very gracious, and we bless him for being so gracious and accepting Vince's offer and allowing us to use this building for ministry. So he was in a little tiny 600 square foot apartment, and now we're in a over 3,000 square foot building with a commercial industrial kitchen. And it's wonderful. It's got great space for working out. I'm a fitness guru, so I'm able to have fitness classes here and help people work out and get strong. And he is back. Yay! So try the prosperity game. Let us know how it is. And remember, check us out on the website. You ready to get back here?
Okay. If you're ready.
I am.
Okay. Oh boy, okay. I'm back. All right. Still talking about number 4, the law of allowing.
And I went from 10 to 4 views while you were gone.
Huh?
Went from 10 to 4 views while you were gone.
Oh, really? So the ratings dropped without my presence,
Yes,
huh?
yes.
Oh, that's too bad.
And now the hearts are going, never mind, you're back.
Okay.
Well,
Wait. Well, what did you do?
I tried to talk about stuff. Huh?
Okay. Well, should have told him I was coming back. You
I
know?
did.
Okay. Well, getting back to the law of allowing, or what I call getting out of your own way. Sometimes you have to relax. And the best way to do that is to give it to the subconscious. The subconscious will cause things to happen even while you're asleep. It will change you from the inside out. It will produce situations and circumstances, or attract situations and circumstances in accordance with what you have placed in its care. That's, the best thing, way to go about achieving success. One example, a little over 10 years ago, I made a little bit of a pledge. I wanted my kids to attend school in a certain school district back in Tulsa. And I just said, my kids are not, my oldest son, I said he is not going to go into the Tulsa public school system. Mm-hmm. And I meant it, I just said he's not going into the Tulsa public school system. And I meant what I said. So my words and my emotions and feeling took that into my subconscious. And I never really thought about it. I may have mentioned it now and then when it was appropriate. We were renting a house. The house was in a nice neighborhood and everything, but we kind of fell in the gap right between the school district there. That street was like the divine. I mean, we used to even get newsletters from the school district that we wanted to be in, even though we were in the Tulsa Public School District. That was like the last street of the Tulsa public school system. And even the person that we were renting the house from thought it was in the other school district. And I remember telling her, our landlord, I said, we will be moving by, fall of such and such. Because I was determined that my son Lemuel was not going to go into the Tulsa Public School District for high school. We had them in private school most of the time. Then as we had more and more kids and the economy began to drop off and I was in grad school, we really couldn't afford to keep all of them in private school. And so I wanted to move to a public school district that was really, that was equal and on par with the private schools that we were normally accustomed to. And that summer, before Lemuel was supposed to, start high school, I just made a lot of money. I could live, I could live wherever I want, buy any house I wanted to buy. All of a sudden, while we were on vacation, our landlady called, and she said, "Vince, I found the perfect house for you. It's in the Jenks Public School. It's in the Jenks School District. Why don't you come over, when you get back in town, take a look at it?" So I said, "Okay, I'm going to hit back on the road to work. I said, Leslie will be back. I'll be back in a week or two. Leslie's going to be the one to make the decision on it anyway. Leslie went over and saw it, loved it. We're still there today, something like going on 12 years now. Graduated three kids from it, scholarship offers, have two more that are going to possibly go through the system if we don't move them down here to Shreveport, and they'll get scholarships as well. So I didn't, I only mentioned to my landlady once, maybe a year and a half or longer, before she called me up and said, hey, I found the house for you. It just happened. I wasn't every day, I've got to find a way for us to move. I've got to come up with something. I have to do it. I wasn't stressing like that.
Mm.
I just said, it's not going to happen. And I meant what I said. And I told my landlord, I said, we will be moving. That's all I said. Never thought about it anymore after that. The universe took care of it. So you can call that faith, where you know something is going to happen that hasn't happened, and you relax about it. You're not tense. See, that's real faith. Faith is when you know it's going to happen. You have no doubt. Well, such and such and such and such is going to happen, and that's it. And you go on about your business. You don't worry about it. You don't stress over it. You don't even focus on it with your conscious mind. You give it to the subconscious. And it happens. It just happens.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to know when to consciously focus on something. When is the time to focus? To be, maybe to be intense. And you don't want to be intense with negative energy. Most of us, when we focus, when we're intense, it's really worry and anxiety. That's not intensity. That's not focus. That's not faith. That's worry. That's negative. And it can only bring, or in most instances, it would only bring negative results. We've talked about the emotional guidance scale that's found in the book Asking and Is Given. It has 22 emotional states of conscious. The top 7 are the ones that you need to be in order to manifest something in a positive way. Anything below 7, take a day off. Don't try to meditate on something or focus on something when you're below 7. It's better to take some time off and come back to it. You've heard me tell that story about Howard Hughes. I mean, he built some big things, but he got nothing but grief with it. Nothing but fear came. He manifested his empire in fear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you don't want to do. You want to manifest your empire in happiness, joy, appreciation. So the law of allowing is very important to the first 3. It's kind of the bottleneck that everything has to go through. From, the law of attraction, deliberate creation, and abundance. Now it kind of has the bottleneck into the law of allowing. If you're pouring some pop out of a bottle into a glass, that bottleneck has to allow it to come out. That's what actually allows it to come into your glass. So the law of allowing is just like that bottleneck. You got to unstop the cork, take the tap off, and let it go. Let it happen. Now, you hear me, the law of allowing, not the law of allowing, the law of attraction is no good if you don't do it. We can sit up here, from now on, talking about the law of attraction, deliberate creation, allowing, and
Yeah.
positive thoughts, the subconscious, and nothing will happen. You have to do something. You have to practice
Yeah.
the law of attraction. You have to do the exercises and things of the law of attraction.
I was trying to tell them about your prosperity game. That's one of them. How expand your mind, your thinking.
That's where I'm going next. Good intro. There is, in the second half of Ask and It Is Given, in the book Ask and It Is Given, okay, here it is. Ask and It Is Given, Learning to Manifest Your Desires. It's kind of the unofficial handbook around here on the law of attraction. Didn't mean for it to be that way, but everybody that came to the meeting, the first meeting we had last year, seemed to have brought this copy with them. I guess we attracted each other, and so we just kept it as the official or unofficial textbook. In the second half of that book, there are what is called processes, different techniques that you can utilize to actually practice the law of attraction, put it into action. One, some of you have probably heard of it, it's called a vision board.
Snapshot, I'm sorry.
Huh?
You want to take a snapshot of the book.
So, okay, I'm holding it there. Let me see. The monitor that I'm looking at is on a little bit of a delay,
You can push it closer.
so I have to make sure I'm holding it where you can see it,
Okay.
and then I'll put it there for this camera. We have two cameras going. See if you can see it there.
Move over.
Move it over.
Right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
that's
You
for
got
my Periscope people,
it. You got it.
and then I had it over here for my Ustream and YouTube group.
Okay, they got it.
All right.
So you're saying about the vision board.
Okay. Oh, it's by Esther and Jerry Hicks. Okay. One of the processes here, a lot of people are using, entrepreneurial groups, other types of meetup groups, what have you. It's called the vision board, where you cut out, let's say from magazines or what have you, you cut out pictures of what you want. And you like a collage. You remember back in school when you made collages?
Yeah.
And you make a collage out of all the things that you want. And every day at various times, or some people do it every morning, they have it, over their mirror. So when they're shaving, brushing their teeth, or putting on makeup, they see that vision board. They place them strategically, throughout their house, their office, whatever. In their car, when they pull down the sun visor, it'll be there. It'll be on the dashboard. That you might make several different versions of this. And the reason for doing that is because the subconscious, the language of the subconscious is pictures or allegory. That's the reason why the Bible is written in the way that it is. It's written in a way that will make you form pictures in your mind. It's written in a way that will give you visions and images and even stir up emotion. Because that's the language of the subconscious. It is a scientific fact that the conscious mind processes 2,000 bits of information. You heard me say this before. I'll say it again for some of you new people. The conscious mind processes 2,000 bits of information per second. The subconscious mind processes 500 billion, with a B, bits of information per second. Vince Pacenti wrote a book in an allegorical format called The Ant and the Elephant. The ant is the conscious mind. The elephant is the subconscious mind. In a tug of war between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, who do you think is going to win? It's going to be the subconscious mind.
Yep.
So it is the job of the ant to learn how to speak elephant.
All right.
The subconscious will not learn how to speak your language. The subconscious does not recognize time or place. Whatever you put into it, it's going to do. It doesn't know when you're kidding.
Yeah.
Okay?
True. Right.
All it knows, something has come into it with a lot of emotion and a lot of feeling, or has been presented to it several times over days, weeks, months, and maybe even years. That's the reason for your vision board. And it will do what you put into it, whatever it is. There's some that say, never imagine anything that you don't really want to happen, because the conscious mind doesn't know the difference. And if you put it into it, if you put something in it, it thinks it's real. It can't rationalize.
It's subconscious, yeah.
Okay? It doesn't know the difference between real and unreal. It doesn't know the difference between a joke and something that should be taken seriously. That's why cynicism is a dangerous thing to the conscious mind. Cynicism and sarcasm are dangerous to the subconscious mind. The subconscious doesn't know the difference. Only your conscious mind knows the difference. It knows no time or space. That's why when you say, I want, that's what you're going to get, just more wanting. You have to say, I have, I am.
Amen.
You have to act like you have it. You have to think, you have to develop the same emotional feelings
Amen.
right now.
God said He is the great I am. He's the great creator.
You heard that? In other words, if you want to drive a Ferrari, you have to spend time, day to day, imagining what it will feel like to own a Ferrari. You should see the color of the Ferrari in your mind.
Yeah.
You should hear the sound of the engine roar. You know, that power, like a lion, roaring. You have to see that color. See those hubcaps. See those spinners, if you like spinners. Okay? Feel that rumble when you're sitting behind the wheel and you turn that motor on. See it, hear it, feel it. What is that? What is it going to smell like? That new car smell. What is it going to smell like?
And what is the insurance payment going to be?
Okay? Go down to the Ferrari dealership and lick one. Okay? So you know how it tastes. In other words, use all five senses. It's actually a meditation.
Yeah.
But you need to experience it with all five senses. Are you going to let people eat in the car? Probably not. Okay. So you see yourself just drinking some water, how it'll taste cool and refreshing or whatever, but you have to experience it all with all five senses. In Vince's book, The Ant and the Elephant, he gives some exercises that you can do. He called one Go Dot. that I like. And it's like, it's the same as a vision board, but it's a real vision board. Pick out what it is you want. And then every time you see it, say, like I had a vision, I wanted a new truck. And I wanted, sitting up on all fours, all mean and nasty looking, four on the floor, like we used to say, all wheel drive. We call it today, we call it a lift kit. Some big, old nasty, gnarly, knotty tires on it. And so whenever I'm driving or outside and I see a truck that fits that description, I stop and pause and I see myself in it. I use all five senses to experience myself in that truck. And he calls that gold dot exercise. And one evening we'll go over some of the highlights of his book, and you'll see why he calls that gold dot. But it's almost like what would you call that? It's a vision board, but it's a three-dimensional vision board.
Yeah,
Okay, not just two-dimensional.
that's cool.
Okay, so if it's a car, if it's a house, go by and look at them from time to time. Put yourself in position to actually see them from time to time, in the flesh. And then experience them by using the meditation of all five senses to experience it in the now.
Mm-hmm.
See, the subconscious doesn't know that this is just an exercise. To the subconscious, it's real. And it will make things happen in you to make that a reality.
That's right.
The subconscious, like I say, will form you from the inside out. It'll make you go back to school. If whatever you desire takes you going back to school and getting, a diploma, a GED, a certification of some kind, you'll wind up doing it without even knowing almost that you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You'll just do it. You'll be filling out financial aid papers and grant papers, trying to get scholarships or saving your money. You will just do it if it's something that you really want. And that's the next step. You have to figure out what you really want for it to get into your subconscious. A lot of people say they want this, that, and the other, but they don't really want it. They're not willing to do what it takes to get it. If you're not willing to do what it takes to get it, then you don't really want it. It's just wishful thinking. It's the little kid takes a towel out of the bathroom, ties it around his neck and says he's got a cape, playing Superman. There's a difference between fantasy and visualization. Visualization for manifestation.
Mm.
There's a difference. You need to be able to practice visualization. You need to be there.
Yeah.
And the subconscious mind will bring about the things that you visualize with emotion. That's why I say you have to feel what it's like to have these things. And when I say feel what it's like, you also need to feel the pressure and responsibility of having what it is you desire. If you want a new car, okay, where am I going to get insurance? How much is insurance going to be? Ooh, that's expensive insurance. Okay, I got to have my insurance. All right, I'm going to go with this company. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to protect it. Maybe I'll get one of those tarps to put on when I park it. Or I'm going to have to buy a house with a garage or a carport. I need this. Now you have to have certain other things to go along with it. What's the responsibility? What things would you worry about if you had this or if you had that? Or maybe I shouldn't use the word worry. What things will you have to contend with and deal with
Right.
if you have when you get what it is you desire?
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be responsibility.
Right.
If it's a business, okay, how many employees? Start thinking about payroll, workman's compensation, unemployment insurance. Oh my goodness. Where can I find a good accountant? I need a good CPA, need a good tax person, need a bookkeeper. Let's see, what about that software I saw on TV? What's it called? QuickBooks.
QuickBooks,
I
okay.
need QuickBooks. And you have to you go down the checklist and you feel it. Okay, I got to get QuickBooks. Need a new laptop, to run quick. I want something fast. I don't want to be sitting there all day.
Computer.
Yeah, I need a new laptop, a new desktop. Am I going to stay in the Windows world? Am I going to move over to the Mac world? Do they make a version for the Mac?
Okay.
What about my other programs? You have to go,
You have to go all the way there. pretty
You
much.
know,
You
that's
can
the meditation is to make it real.
Otherwise, you're going to be fooling yourself. You check yourself.
Right. When I remember, I like to read little quotes from The Secret every day, little daily sayings that I like to read in this every day. And it said that, I read one in here once that said, you need to see the vision, and then you need to see yourself in, it's 3 steps. See the vision of what you want, see yourself in the vision, and then see yourself moving in the vision.
Mm-hmm.
Your vision should not be static. It should always be growing and evolving, taking on new tasks,
Right.
okay? New obstacles, new challenges. See yourself moving in the vision. See the vision, see yourself in the vision, and see yourself moving in the vision. Dealing with everything that the vision may possibly detail and bring up in real life. So, and you do it like a meditation. I like to do this every morning. I like one of the processes. I don't have a vision board. I do the gold dot thing, where when I see it, I pause and experience it with all 5 senses. So that's I prefer the 3D vision board. Although I might put up a vision board in the office one of these days. Okay, but what I prefer is there's another. Leslie told you about it already. It's called the Prosperity Game,
Mm-hmm.
where you start off on day 1 with 1,000, day 2, 2,000, all the way up to day 1.
Whatever days.
Whatever. After 30 days, you have 30,000, and each day you add 1,000, and each day you must spend all of that money on something that you want, something that you desire. And when you do that, whatever you write it down and you find out how much it actually costs. Write it down, find out how much it costs, and then you feel what it would feel like to have it. That's a meditation. That's an exercise to help you reach your goals. I'm up to about $240-something thousand that I have to spend. I'm in that range right now, every day on something. And what I do, I want to build a facility where people can come and be healed, set free, and delivered. healed in their bodies of physical illnesses, healed in their mind of emotional distress, and healed in their finances. And I want them to be able to come and be able to do that like a retreat.
Yes, we do.
Maybe they may have to stay with us a week or a month. And I like to be able to do this on a donation basis.
Right.
Because
We
the
don't
people-
charge, right?
Oh, say what?
We're not gonna charge.
Right, it's a donation. You know, the people who need this, a lot of times don't have a lot of money. And, you know, right now, we do personal ministry with people, you know, on an individual basis, or coaching, whether it's for, because I'm an entrepreneur, whether it's, you know, entrepreneurial pursuits and finances, whether it's spiritual, you know, their spirituality, they want to attain new heights in their spirituality, or they need healing in their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And we do individual sessions on a donation basis,
Amen.
whether in person or we can do it through video conferencing. You know, conferencecall.com has video conferencing now. Or we can do it through Skype, we
Right.
can do it through Facebook. There's so many different ways, we can do
video.
this. Okay, but that's my dream, and like I said, I want to do it in a retreat fashion. I want to have maybe 25, 50 acres where people can get away from the noise, from the mental noise and emotional noise of everyday life, and come, and focus on this thing, like a Buddhist monk, doing his Zen meditation, on an ice cold mountain under an ice cold waterfall or something, you know what I mean? Where no outside distractions. There's not going to be any TV, no cell phones are going to be allowed, no internet, or any of that stuff. Where a person can really,
That's our vision, yes.
forget about things and focus inwardly. And I want to have a place for people to come and do that. So, in my prosperity game, I buy land, I develop the land, I'm building buildings, dormitories, cabins, schools, maybe gymnasiums, for exercise and other functions. I'm building a complex. And I also have some personal things that I do. Like I said, I do it every day. The last day I did it was back on December 21st. I took the holidays and January off. And now that February is here, I started back, and I was working on it today. I have year-end totals because I generate income. And by year's end, I had $14,775,000 in surplus funds that I need to spend.
All in the prosperity game. That's
All doing the prosperity game.
just all.
Okay? In savings and my building fund, I had $1,420,000 in the first 2 quarters of 2015. In the second quarter of 2015, I had $2,920,000. I had a budget or surplus funds from flipping, real estate and other investment properties of $2,920,000 also.
He
Okay.
said, I'll take a donation for my bills.
Say what?
So he'll take a donation for his bills in your
So-
prosperity game.
Okay. If he tells me what his goals are, I'll put him down and make a donation. I'll put him in the book.
He said, he'll put you in the book.
Okay.
Tell him what you're.
But
Yeah.
he's got to have he's got to have something to convince me to give.
Yeah.
Okay, something worthwhile. So that's the other thing. You have to figure out what you want, And the bigger your reason why, the easier it will be. It'll come. If you have a reason why that benefits mankind, it'll come. The universe will provide those types of desires quicker than something you just want just for you.
Okay. He said his company is expanding, they need a bigger house, and his wife is pregnant with their third daughter.
Congratulations. I have 9 kids.
Yeah, I told him.
Been there, done that.
So
Okay.
that's wonderful. He's another baby coming.
Fantastic. Glad to hear. Congratulations. It's a wonderful thing. You having that child. See, the universe provides for us based on what we think, what we say, and what we do.
Yeah.
You keep having babies, I guarantee the universe will provide you with a bigger house. I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm. Where he said he lives in Stonewall. Where's Stonewall?
It's here in
Okay.
this area.
You need to come by.
Right. You need to come by and see us in person. Okay. But the universe will provide.
Yeah.
That home that I was telling you about that I wanted located in the good school district, that home was about 3,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My home, size doubled.
Yes.
Okay. Now, get back. From flipping, from the second half of the year was 2,920,000. Flipping from the first half was 1,780,000. My worldwide housing project, I want to make this a global thing. I'm not just thinking Shreveport Bossier. I'm not just thinking United States. I'm thinking globally. My worldwide housing program, I had a surplus of 1,680,000. Now my toy fund, my boats, my RVs, my motorcycles, my jet skis, okay. I have a toy fund with a surplus of 1,830,000. I want to buy some land. I think I need to grow my own food, do some farming. I have farming equipment of 660,000.
He's going to start aquaponic garden.
Okay.
That's good.
I saw that on, it was on, what was it? Was it National Geographic? The survivalists and stuff. What did they call that show when we used to watch it? The guy had that type of garden. He had turned his swimming pool into that, where he grew his own food out of the garden. He ate the fish out of the garden, and he had chickens, and he used the chicken feces to fertilize. He was recycling. He was recycling everything, and eating out of his swimming pool. Okay.
Fish in the swimming pool, yeah.
Farming equipment, 660,000. I want to put home studios in these different houses around the world so that they can broadcast the message locally. And then I had a general surplus in my budget of another 660,000 for a total of $14,775,000 that I will spend before next week. I am going to spend $14,775,000 by this time next week, and I'm going to give you guys an account of it. I spent $1,670,000. I'm a commercial real estate appraiser, so I know how much it costs to build various structures on a square foot basis.
Yeah.
I want to build a 7,000 square foot home at about $175 a square foot. That's $1,225,000. Or if I decide to build a 10,000 square foot home, because I have 9 kids, remember, it will cost me $1,750,000. So the minimum that I want to build is 7,000. I want to have a full basement. I want to have something that you folks in Louisiana know absolutely nothing about. It's called a basement. They say, what do you call a basement in Louisiana? They say they call it a swimming pool. Okay. I grew up north where I had a full basement. I want a full basement again, even here in Louisiana. I don't care if I have to put sub pumps in there and whatever I have to do to be able to have a full basement. 3,500 square foot basement, about $50 a square foot. It's going to cost me about $175,000 for a basement. An in-ground swimming pool, the size that I want, is about $70,000, and 10 acres of land on the lake, about $200,000. That's a total of $1,670,000. It took me all day to do this budget. I had to figure out what size house do I want? Why do I want it?
Yeah.
What do I want in it?
Neat.
How much land do I want on it? Where do I want the land to be situated? Okay? And I had to go back through last year's revenue, and it's almost like doing your taxes at the end of the year. That's what I did today, more or less. I sat down and I looked at how much income do I have to work with beginning this new year. I bought the land for everything last year in my diary. Now I'm going to sit down and figure out, do I want a church building built on it? Do I want a school? Do I want dormitories, cabins? How many cabins? How many dormitories? How big is the church and the school going to be? Is it the gymnasium, administrative offices? How large? And then I have to figure out how much this will cost per square foot. And I have a budget of $14,775,000 minus the $1,670,000 that I've already spent. I have to stay within my budget.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing all of this every day. Okay, I've got $241,000 that I'm working with as of right now. Tomorrow will be 242, 243, and so on and so on. I'll be up to at least over $500,000 by this time next year that I'll be working with as a budget. Because once I build all these things, I'm going to have how much the utilities going to be? What's my payroll going to be? Am I going to provide a 401k? Am I going to provide health insurance for my employees? How much am I going to contribute to things? So I'm working with that type of a budget. And I'm feeling what it feels like to be at the helm of this type of operation. And I'm going to take vacations, I'm buying my toys and things. But this is my main desire. This is my heart-filled desire. I don't desire a Porsche or a Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce. Under this system, I might buy one because I got to spend the money. But I have a worldwide housing project that I'm trying to accomplish too.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to visit these places. They're going to be located around the world. So I'll get a chance to travel. So I'll put a budget in there for travel. Whatever it is that floats your boat is what you do.
Yeah.
This is how I play the prosperity game. Get that book, read through the processes, and adapt them. Either play it the way the book tells you to play it, or make the modifications that fit you. Okay? So, play the process. The one thing, let me tell you something about the prosperity game. It will take over your life. What I mean by that, it will begin to develop you. It will begin to dictate ideas to you.
Yes, it will. It will
In other words,
stretch you.
it will stretch you. It will grow you. It will develop you. When I did this budget just on my home, now I have a 3,000 square foot home back in Tulsa, where we're operating, the building that we're operating our ministry out of here in Shreveport is a little over 3,000 square foot also. But when I was doing this, and I put down 7,000 square feet, and And then I looked at the cost, $1,225,000. I've never had that type of money come into my hands yet, but I felt it. It was real. And I felt the stress and the strain. Now, what that meant was, it meant I don't believe it. It's not in my subconscious. I don't believe right now, at this very moment, I don't believe I'm going to buy or build a 7,000 square foot home. Because I would not have felt that way when I put it on paper. And this has happened to me at various times during playing the prosperity game over the last year. When you write something down on paper and it feels funny, and maybe you ask yourself, do I really want that? Or do I really need that? Is that really is that really real? Is that really necessary? Does someone really need that? You know what you have just discovered? A limiting belief. A limiting belief. Inside of you, there is something that says you can't do it, or you don't believe in it just yet.
And doing that prosperity game will help you eliminate that.
The prosperity game will grow you. As you write it down day by day and think about it day by day, that limiting belief will begin to dissolve. It'll go away. And you'll start feeling it. You'll start using the 5 senses in that meditation that I told you about. And you'll begin to believe.
Mm-hmm.
As you believe, there is a spiritual force and a spiritual power that will actually bring it to pass. It doesn't matter if that spiritual force from the universe, from the creator, from source, it'll send you back to school. It'll send you back to get more training. It'll do whatever it needs to do in you to make what you have written down happen, as long as you believe it. When you get to the point that you believe it, and you can feel it, you can taste, touch, and feel it, and smell it, it's going to happen. If you don't give up, if you stick with it, it will. It has to. It's the law of creation. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. If you do it on a regular basis with enough intensity, what I mean by intensity is not you just focusing, but feeling, emotionally, it will happen. Right now, today, I wrote that down, and I felt that was the first time in a while that I felt that block. We had one lady who used to come to the meetup group, and she said, "You ever notice that when you get to a certain income, you just fall back down? You never get higher than this one income, you know?" And for her, it was 60,000. And she said, could never, her and her husband could never get past that $60,000 mark because she's got a limiting belief system in there. Mm-hmm. That's where modalities like Psych, emotion code, body code, they help get rid of these things that are in your subconscious that are either keeping you from being healed or keeping you from being successful.
Amen. Break through the walls.
This exercise with the prosperity game is getting into my subconscious, and you're going to see we're going to talk a lot about the subconscious because that's where the law of attraction really is. It's in the subconscious. It is not in the conscious mind. It begins here. It germinates in the conscious mind, but it takes root in the subconscious. It's a seed in the conscious, but it gets planted and germinates and takes root in the subconscious. You know, a handful of seed is just a handful of seed until you put it in the ground and water it and give it some sunlight and fertilizer. You know, the conscious mind is just a handful of seed. Now you got to go out and figure out how you can plant it out in the field and water it and give it some fertilizer. And that's in your subconscious mind. So I'm always going to be referring to the prosperity game. And when you come in person and you bring your diary with you, we go over each other's diary together and explore. Because we all have something to share and something to teach one another in our individuality.
Yep.
You know, I don't have all the answers, don't pretend to. Some of you are going to come up with some new games, some new processes, some new twist on the old game that we can all benefit from. That's why it's all, you know, it's great when we come together. You know, just, yeah, I put these on Facebook with Periscope and on Ustream and YouTube to archive some of the wisdom. We've had a lot of wisdom come
Right.
out of the group
It's been
in
great.
the past year. I'm not saying it's lost, but it would be nice. It would have been nice if it was archived
Yeah.
to take advantage of. And those of you who think you might want to have some individual coaching, you know, get in touch with us. You know, right now we're meeting. We do this twice a week. This is going to be the last week we do it twice a week. After this week, we're only going to do it on Thursday night. We're going to drop the Saturday morning session, and we're going to cut back to once a week on Thursday evening at 7 p.m. But I'm going to end there. Next week, you know, we've covered, you know, the 4 laws. Next week, we're going to cover the 12. We're going to begin covering the 12 foundations. You know, go to our website
Yep.
at sim.weebly.com.
I've been posting it on.
And post, okay.
You check it on the replays as well.
All right. And go to our meetup group site at meetupgroup.com and just type in Shreveport Bossier Law of Attraction, and we have it available on the meetup site. You know, print this out, start going over it. You know, get this into your subconscious. These 4 gates to paradise and the 12 foundations. You know, and you know we're going to make sure we cover the 12 foundations now that we've covered the 4 gates, and then we're going to launch out into some advanced and intermediate and advanced material regarding the law of attraction. But we're always going to be referring back to the 4 gates, the 12 foundations, the emotional guidance scale that's found in Asking It Is Given.
Yeah.
You never get away from any of that.
It's all right there on our website.
Okay, we'll launch out into the subconscious after we get this basic information down. So with that said, I'm going to say goodnight. It's about 10 minutes to 9, so we'll finish a little early tonight.
That's good.
Thank you for allowing me my little break there. And we'll see you Saturday morning at 11 a.m. or next Thursday at 7 p.m. Good night.